Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Business Over Breakfast. My name is Ben Barber. I have a proper title this week, which is nice, and I'm joined, as always, by Lori Gittari of Visual Thrive and ShopLocalRhode
Good
Hey,
morning.
Lori, how are you?
Hi, good. How are you doing?
Good. It's good to see you. It feels like it's been a long time, even though it's
It
only been
does
7 days.
feel like a long time. Yes. Is that an RBG cup?
It's not. Oh, I wish it
Oh,
was. This is my
oh,
friend Thor.
oh,
That would be
okay.
great. I would. You know what? Now I'm gonna order one.
I wish I had one too.
Yeah,
I think that people should start sending us coffee cups.
that would be great.
Great. And then we'll just do some business marketing on our cups.
There you go.
Yeah.
So this is my friend Thor Jensen, who is an incredible guitarist, and yeah, he's played at like Carnegie Hall and tours the world. He's amazing, and this is a mug of him drinking a mug with his name on it.
I saw the little
Yes.
white collar. I'm excited about today's show. We're moving into some real Rhode Island roots here.
I know. I'm excited too. So as some people know, probably I am from Westerly, and today's show is all about some stuff that's happening in Westerly, and we are joined today by Nick Celico, who was recently an intern at the town of Westerly and oversaw a project that was really, really great for the pond and everybody involved in it for the fishing industry in Westerly. So I'm so excited to bring on Nick. Here he is, Nick Celico. Hey, Nick, how are you?
Good morning. I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm
morning,
wonderful, thank you. So, Nick, tell us a little bit about who you are, how you got involved in this, and what you did that was such a big deal.
Sure. So I was in the URI Graduate School of Oceanography this past, last September up until May, and I was pursuing my master's in oceanography. So one of my, in my curriculum, I had to do either independent study or an internship. So I selected the internship, and fortunately I was able to do it right in my own backyard, literally, of Westerly. And I decided to work on Winnipeg Pond, and we kind of brainstormed. I worked with the recreation department, so my internship was under Juliet Beasley. She's now the recreational director. She was the coordinator at the time. And we decided to do my internship focusing on a shellfish restoration project in Winnipeg Pond. So that's one of the salt ponds. There's quite a few of them along the south coast of Rhode Island. So
I was actually thinking, Ben, you said pond, and then Nick, you said pond, and I was thinking, can you maybe tell our audience a little bit about what a saltwater pond is?
Sure. So for those of you that aren't familiar with the barrier beach system, so along Rhode Island South Shore, you have very nice sandy beaches their point is to be buffers to the mainland. You know, the sand moves with storms, and then also in calm weather redeposits and expands. So in some instances, especially during the last glaciers, when they retreated, they sort of dug out the land, and with glacial melting and the ocean breaching, you had the salt ponds, and you have, I believe there's 6 of them on Rhode Island South Shore. You have Winnipeg, Quanticottag, Quaney for your Rhode Islanders out there, Ninigret, which is in Charlestown, Potter, and Point Judith, and I left out Green Hill, but you really can't use that pond. It's kind of icky. But yeah, Winnipeg is one of those salt ponds.
So if we, I'm just going to pull up a map right here. So this is Misquamicut. So this is Misquamicut Beach, and down here you'll see the parking lot, and that's what everybody knows as Misquamicut. But Misquamicut's actually a 3-mile village, and along the entire 3-mile village, behind the beach that everybody goes to, is this gigantic saltwater pond that, as you can see over on the side, by the compass over here, it has like the breachway that leads back to it. So this is a massive deal, and it's a big deal for the ecosystem back there. And you obviously would be able to talk a lot more about that than I would. So how important was this shellfish restoration to this pond that is just such a large part of that area?
Oh, it was very significant in terms of sort of creating a domino effect of future projects. When we first started this, there was a long time planned out dredging project that time and time again was stalled out and just went nowhere. But finally, this fall, they're going to do it. And that's really what the pond needs is dredging, because it's so backfilled with beach sand and all this silt from runoff that it's almost, in some areas, you can't navigate it, and you can only drive pretty small watercraft through there. And really, it's only at high tide. At low tide, good luck. So I would say the shellfish thing is more, I mean, I hate to say this, but it's more symbolic. I hate saying, oh, symbolic, but it really is. It kind of showed the town taking a step in fighting for its own pond. I would say in the past, Westerly's a very busy town. They kind of had other priorities to begin with. But when we look at towns like Charlestown, they're constantly doing things to Ninigret and Quaney. And just recently, Quaney had their channels dredged, and they used those spoils to rebuild their salt marshes, and it looks beautiful down there. They got a new boat ramp, and Charlestown really puts a lot of effort and financial support to keeping those two salt ponds healthy and maintained. So Westerly's finally getting in on that, and I think it's great. I mean, it's a win-win for everybody.
It's so incredible when, I've been working on a project that's mainly happening in the farms in Kansas, Nebraska, and Colorado. And I've been on calls, and I have this map of Rhode Island behind me.
Yeah.
And so for someone that's in the Midwest and sees something like that, it's so incredible how in touch with the ocean and like the land, and how the land hits the water in so many different places in Rhode Island. I mean, this care is just super important, as we see with climate change and how the world is changing, how important it is for all of us to really step up and care for what's around. I mean, I'm looking at Narragansett Bay right now, and we've done a lot of great work here. So tell us more about what happens with shellfish here. Is this like, do they just show up?
Well, shellfish,
like a real life. So I'm not a shellfish fisherman.
Yeah, sorry. Shellfish have been culturally significant all the way going back to pre-colonial times. The Native Americans would actually use quahogs somewhat for their diet, but they use their shells for wampum, which is, I don't know if you ever eaten little necks or cherry stuffies, but you notice that there's purple inside the shell, right? Well, I could be a little bit inaccurate here, but from my understanding, they manipulate the shell, specifically the purple part, and they make wampum. I don't know if they use it for currency or for beads or like their jewelry back then, but it was very culturally significant to the Native Americans.
I actually, and I was in Martha's Vineyard on their coast, and I don't remember the local Native population name there, but they were selling all jewelry. I should have worn those earrings today because they're purple.
Okay.
Yeah, it is. It's very significant, and just I love that they keep these beautiful Native names too.
Yeah, well, quahog is actually derived from a Native American term. So I think it was called like polyquahawk. That's what, I could be wrong yet, but it was something like that. It began with a P. And when the Europeans came over, when they heard the natives saying that, for some reason, quahog stuck to them. So that's how you got quahog out of that. It came from a much larger Native American word. And of course, a lot of Native American language, it gets slanged up by the Europeans and common name for everybody. But it's actually pretty interesting, that backstory. Now, I know you asked where did they come from. I mean, they've been here for millions of years. They don't move very far. Once they settle, they pretty much anchor in, and they spawn every June, and that's about it. It's really on natural conditions and fishing pressure, whether or not they set well and or not, you know.
Wow.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's great.
Why do you think it took so long to get this? Like, so this is such an important thing for the beach community, and for the natural resources that are down there, and like, I know that you said Westerly's a busy town with busy with a lot of things to address. That's true, but like the beach is in a lot of ways Westerly, and I might get in trouble for saying that. I don't care. But like but for real though, in Westerly, you have like downtown's amazing, and I love it, and I lived there for a long time.
Mhm.
But you have like Watch Hill, which is a huge, tax place for
Mhm.
Westerly. You
Mhm.
have Weekapaug, huge tax place for Westerly, where the wealthier residents live and summer and all of that stuff. And then you have Mesquamaket, which is like one of the #1 tourist destinations in the state,
Mhm.
and the Northeast. Like, so why do you think it was such a task to get something this important done?
I don't think it. I think specifically with the shellfish thing, I just don't think it was on anyone's minds. Not that this was an agenda thing. This came from my head. I've worked with shellfish for so many years. You know, I was clamming in Kwani when I was 4 or 5 years old, digging them up with my bare hands. And then fast forward to the past, a few years ago, I started doing that as part of my summer job. Literally, I got a commercial shellfishing license, and that's how I used it for employment. I'm actually still doing that right now in the job search, and I love it. It's good pay, and it's sustainable, and it's just a good time. So I was already very familiar with shellfish. I already knew a lot about their biology, about their life history, about their importance for water quality, for recreational tourism. That is huge, and it's also a cultural icon for Rhode Island. I mean, one of the perks of being a Rhode Islander is you're allowed either a peck in the salt ponds or half a bushel in the bay without a license, and compared to non-state residents who have to get a license and pay money. So
Wow.
I was very familiar with a lot of those things. So
Who buys your product?
I can basically sell to any wholesale with a shellfish dealer's license. I usually go to Galilee, like places like Champlain's, and they're very good people down there. Really, anybody, next summer, they're still open. The restaurant's still open, I believe.
Yeah.
Anybody, whoever is in Galilee and wants a good meal and very good, fresh, local catch, go to Champlain's. Very good people.
That's awesome.
That's great.
You are fresh out of college, I would assume, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like 22 or something?
I'm 23.
23. Okay. And you
Much older.
like this is I love that what you just said is what I was trying to sort of get to, like this thing that wasn't necessarily like on the agenda,
Mm-hmm.
right? But it came from your mind.
Yes.
And this wonderful thing that Westerly really needed, and these salt ponds really need, and like this is an amazing thing that you've done.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to give you the opportunity to sort of take a not a bow or anything. Like that's really incredible that you brought this to the attention of people.
Sure.
That because like I said, Winnapaug Pond has been on the agenda for the dredging for a really long time, and it got pushed off for so long. And I think that that's incredible, and I think that it's incredible that you saw a need in your community, in your home community. I think that all of that is just fantastic. So
thank you. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, that's incredible. You did an amazing job.
Yeah. Do you want me to briefly go over the whole process? Because
please do.
Yeah. I would really love to hear how you organized it and what happened, and so past, present, future. So
sure.
How you organized it, what happened, and then what your plans are moving forward. And we may interrupt you with some questions.
Ask questions, because I think questions really are going to help this go smoothly and get the best idea.
Yeah.
So go back in time to last January, pre-COVID. I I started my internship with Julia Beasley, who's now the director of recreation. And she had the Green the Beach campaign, which every year she picked a project where it dealt with educating the public on ecological issues, the beach, climate change, sustainable practices. I know one of their projects was getting solar-powered trash cans that would compact recyclables. That way, it'd be nice and organized when they took it. She did reusable water bottles and whatnot, and a whole bunch of other projects. So she wanted someone with a biological background, preferably marine biology. That's what I did undergrad at URI. And I was like, well, as part of my master's program, I have to do this internship. So I'd be more than happy to come up with something. And, we chatted about different ideas, like, getting a dock approved by the CRMC, but that was a little tricky. We were talking about doing oyster reefs, but in my timeline, I had till May to get something done. So I knew an oyster reef was going to be too time consuming. So I was really comfortable bringing up the shellfish thing. Now, I had to say the shellfish transplant idea that's already been a program that used to happen. I was familiar with it through just being in the industry and scientific literature. So I basically chaperoned it back into Westerly. So the shellfish transplant program is when they go up in Narragansett Bay, they'll go into an area where the water quality is fine, but it's closed to harvesting. So,
can I ask you a quick question? Sure. When you say shellfish, what types of shellfish are you? Just quahogs?
Just quahogs, yes.
Okay, thanks.
Yes. Yeah, no problem. So, where was it? Yeah, shellfish transplant. So they go up in the bay, right? And they'll have the bull rakers, which literally it's all human strength. Two hands on a bar, giant baskets with sharp teeth on them, just tilling up the bottom, getting rakefuls of quahogs. And what they do is they bag the clams and they get shipped off to either another area in the bay where they can be dug up in 6 months, or they get put in spawner sanctuaries where they're permanently protected to spawn and reproduce. So, and in this situation with Winnipeg, they're put in a spawner sanctuary. So they're in a protected area for the duration of their life to spawn year after year. And seeing they're dumped in close proximity, the idea is fertilization is going to be more likely, and therefore you'll have a better likelihood of a good set going all throughout the pond, if that makes sense. So the set is basically the juvenile clam. They actually do swim around in their larval stage, and then when they find bottom or they see their friends, they'll literally swim down, they'll burrow in, they'll start growing a shell, and then in a couple of years they'll be reproducing. So
wow, that's fascinating. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's so funny. Everyone's like, oh, when can we dig the clams? It's like never. And people are like, oh, isn't this a seeding? Aren't you throwing them out where we can dig them? It's like, no. Seeding's a whole different ball game. And I did propose that initially, but that's a whole talk for a different time. There are some issues with, I don't know if you're familiar with quahog seeding. They do that a lot in Massachusetts, but they get those seed from hatchery factories, usually in the Cape, and their genetic makeup's different from the wild population. And anytime you cross genetics, it has consequences, good and bad, and we can't risk the bad, especially in a small area like Winnipeg, because if you have some bad genes in there and it starts flowing around, you're gonna decimate shellfish beds. We don't want enhance, not destroy.
So in that first process, what did you? Was there like any anecdotal story where you thought like, oh, this was something new and different, or this was something that we didn't expect to have to deal with?
Well, COVID, I have to say, was I'm not joking, because we were supposed to do this in May, and it got moved to after Labor Day. The idea is you do the transplants in May because they spawn in June, so you give them a month to get settled in and get comfortable with their new home, then they'll start spawning. But obviously with COVID, we didn't know what was going on then. We still don't know what's going on, unfortunately. How
so?
Well, I mean, there's just a lot of people involved. I mean, you have to have people on the transport boats where all the clams go on. I mean, when people came to unload onto the trailer the town truck trailer that we had in East Greenwich, because that's where we had to go pick up the clams.
Mm.
There were 20 people on that fishing boat. I mean, everyone was wearing a mask, but back in May, we didn't know how we still were. There was still a lot of questions. So
Right.
but now Rhode Island's in a place where we could do it now. So.
I see.
Yeah.
And so how are you rating the success of the project?
Oh, full marks, A++.
Nice.
If anything, if I knew we were gonna have the volunteers that we had, especially coming out of East Greenwich, because I didn't expect the transport boat to have 20 shellfish around there unloading those bags. We literally got 100 bushels of clams loaded on a trailer in 5 minutes. It was unbelievable.
Wow.
I kind of wish if I knew that, of course, how would I know? But if I had known ahead of time there was going to be that much help, I would have gone for 200 bushels, because the Rhode Island's Southern Rhode Island Conservation District, who funded this project, they said, I had a meeting with them, like, oh, well, do you want to get more clams? Like, we'll provide the financial support. And I was like, no, like 100 bags is enough. I don't know how much help we'll get. So
yeah.
But now for next time, we at least know the process. So, and one thing I should know is this hasn't happened in any of the salt ponds since 2011. None of the spawner sanctuaries have been restocked. So I think, we really didn't know the process, but it's been almost 10 years. It was a little tricky, especially getting the town involved, because as far as I'm concerned, this is the first time Westerly ever got involved in a shellfish transplant. So
that's fantastic, though, because I think that this is, do you think that this could be the start of a trend for the other areas in Rhode Island, including Westerly?
Absolutely. I know that the people in Shelter Harbor want quantity. Actually, now that I think about it, Quaney is also, the spawner sanctuary in Quaney Pond is actually on the Westerly side, so that will be a Westerly task. And I know the people in Shelter Harbor were like, can we get on this? And I'm like, look, let me just focus on Winnipeg for this year, and maybe we'll see how the program goes for next year. But
that's good. Put your seatbelt on. That's good.
So that's amazing, Nick.
Yeah.
I love this.
I did bring some tools to show you kind of what shell fishermen use, both commercially and recreationally, if you want me to show them.
Please.
Yeah, definitely.
So first, I mentioned that during the transplant, they dig them up with a giant clam rake, right? It's called a bull rake. So I will show you what a bull rake looks like.
Wait, come back.
Oh, wow. The bull rake, it connects to an aluminum pole. So I don't have the full thing because obviously I couldn't fit it in the house. But, it has pretty long teeth, made for digging in the mud, and stainless steel. You can fit like 70 pounds of clams in this thing. So
that's amazing. That's huge. I did not think it was that big.
Well, again, you're digging. A lot of people are digging off a boat, right? So you have the drift of the boat to help out. So
I see. Okay, so you don't, but that still seems hard to pull.
This world is so foreign to me.
I love it. Here's
Yeah,
recreational looking stuff. This is a peck basket. So when you're in the salt ponds, a resident can fill that up right to the brim, and a non-resident can fill it up halfway. And then here you have this is just for flipping mud, especially a good low tide. So. But they make
when you said bull rake, that's the instrument I was thinking about. But
no, the bull rake's it's like a bulldozer when it's in that bottom.
Hey, I'm a marketing girl. I didn't know.
So the funny thing is, and it's debated in the scientific community, but the bull rakers all claim that by raking, it actually tills up the bottom and it kind of cultivates it, which allows for better settlement in future years. And I'll be honest, I know the science community is going to hate me for this, but I 100% agree with them because I have seen it myself. So
yeah, I think that when I have the opportunity to see people in their 20s and 30s doing amazing work around sustainability, and I see it in this other project that I'm working on in the Midwest with farming and organic farming and creating new and very different sustainable activities that are also economically viable for us. It's really, really inspiring. And I really want to thank you for taking the time with us and just sharing it. We will continue to share the information in our communities as well. And wish you well, and stay in touch with us so we can check in.
Now I have 30 more seconds if you don't mind. I have one more here. So this is for my friend Frank. Oh, is it backwards or is the right way on there?
No, I see it right. Yes.
Okay, so he is opening up a co-op called the Fishmonger. So this is like his little advertisement. And basically, I think, Ben, you're already familiar with it, talking with Jay.
Yeah.
It's basically a fish shares where you pay for a subscription, you get X amount of pounds of fish per week. And this is really the future of getting seafood. And unlike what we think, when I say local seafood, a lot of times it's not local. It's sent overseas and sent back. Well, this one, it's coming directly from your fisherman. It's going to the facility, to your dinner plate. It can be on your dinner plate from the water within an hour.
Wow.
Yep. And that was something that wasn't even possible like 6 months ago.
Right. And with COVID and, the food shortages and everyone freaking out, this kind of exposed the meat market. Yeah. And I think what Frank is doing here is the next wave. And anybody out there that, really loves seafood, really look into the Fishmonger, because it's the next wave. And you're also supporting the livelihood of your local fishermen. I mean, these aren't the guys with giant trawlers. These are guys with skiffs, with little fishing boats under 25 feet, or they're small scale. And it literally goes into that.
This is part of what we are trying to do with the website shoplocalrhodeisland.com.
Yeah.
We Rhode Islanders supporting Rhode Island businesses. So tell the Fishmonger to get his business up there. There's also another company. Is it What's Good? That does local delivery work for food. But
that's awesome. That's incredible.
I can send you that link, but get on shoplocalrhodeisland.com, and we're trying to create like delivery structures for the state as well. And it's a little crazy right now, but I think that's so super important, and we can start pushing that out as well.
No, yeah, look at it. You got it right down there. How nice.
Yeah.
So
Ben's good at that.
And Nick, please tell Frank to come on the show whenever he can. I know that he's but we'd love to talk to them about the Fishmonger.
He'll blow your mind. On his knowledge is unreal. So
and I would say to anybody that's not in Rhode Island, if you eat a piece of frozen swordfish and then eat a piece of fresh swordfish right out of the water, it's like completely two different items, not even the same. It's such a difference to have fresh seafood. We're lucky.
So Nick, as a Westerly resident and somebody who works for the beach a lot, I just want to say thank you for everything that you've done and this initiative that you've put forward to helping literally everybody in the town. So that's amazing, and I just personally want to say thank you for that. That's incredible. So Nick, thank you. Please come back with Frank if you want. That would be great. Awesome.
Invite us.
Be on
the lookout for the movie. We're gonna do a documentary about everything we did, so be on the lookout.
Good, you should. That's awesome.
Great.
Thank you so much, everybody.
Talk to you soon.
Great morning.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
All right, Lori.
Yeah.
We have an old friend who wants to say hi.
I'm nervous.
We have an old friend who wants to say hi if he unmutes himself. Ladies and gentlemen, my original co-host for Business Over Breakfast. It's been a long time. You shouldn't have left us. Justin John Tarek, Simplicity Print Studio.
Ooh.
Hey, Justin.
What's up, guys? I miss everybody.
I know.
How are you?
It's been a wild ride between COVID.
You went into a tunnel and now you're out?
I'm out of the tunnel for a little while. I'm out. As some of you guys know, we had a small little mishap in our shop, and We kind of separated our business out in a couple different models, and
Mm-hmm.
we closed Oceanside as we know it.
Wow.
I'm just working on the next best thing. I've been spending the last couple of weeks moving and not shaving. So
Looks good. I couldn't even tell.
yeah, oh, it's disgusting. It's absolutely.
Oh.
Dude, you look really good. You look happy and healthy, and you look good.
Yeah, so that's kind of what I'm working on. I'm in the new place now, and I'm not sure what it'll become of or not. But in any event, I had to get space to put all my machines and get everything in the spot, and just get back to being simple.
Yeah.
Hence where our new little studio name comes from. So.
Good.
Yeah, we're gonna work on some little things, with the business, and I want to do a little nonprofit side of things. And Ben and I have been talking about doing some stuff, getting some like art collaboratives together, and
Nice.
really just kind of like teaching youth, a skill, a trade. I feel like it's something that nobody really does anymore. So.
Oh, I have a great connection for you.
Oh, really?
There's a guy. Have you ever heard of Fab Newport?
Yeah, I have heard the name, but I don't know much about it.
Check it out. Check it out. You talk about like hands-on learning and skills and maker kind of work.
Yeah.
It's very, very impressive.
Actually, is that the jewelry guy?
No, it's
Ben, didn't we have the jewelry guy that did the same thing?
We had a jewelry guy on, but he was a jeweler. I don't think that he did the things that.
This is like working with middle school and high school kids, and actually partnering with schools to teach skills and trades and that whole maker concept. But really, really interesting. And if you're thinking of that, and I think it is a nonprofit.
Yeah, I know one part of us will have to be a nonprofit. There's a lot of little work to go through, and I'm gonna take like next couple weeks or so and sit back and kind of enjoy the ride and see where it goes from there. But it's been a crazy 6 months. That's for sure.
Did you decide on your logo?
I did not yet. I did not. I played around with it a little bit more, and the more I look at a few different ones, a lot of my big business is the retail side in, selling a lot of the craft stuff and, all that fun stuff. So I need to make sure that it's, really cater to like a woman's market and, centered around making them feel comfortable about coming into, a studio that's, owned by a guy. It's like a weird thing that someone like me would own like a craft store for lack of a better term. And
where are you located?
It's right on West Shore Road. I'm right across the street from West Shore Coffee Bar. I'm like 2 buildings over from Highlander.
In Warwick. So tell everyone your address.
It's 2260 West Shore Road.
2260 West Shore Road.
And if you come this way, you have to go see my friends over at West Shore Coffee Bar.
All right, cool.
Because I've tried it for the first time. I drive past it all the time. And they signed up for the Gift It Forward. And I was like, oh, I've got to stop over there because it forced me to go look at their menu and look at some stuff. And now that I'm basically across the street, I went there and I've been a sucker and been there every morning because it's so delicious.
I think better than Dunkin' Donuts.
That's exactly what I was going to say, Lori.
Support the local people. Yes. Shop.
It's absolutely fantastic. The afternoon, they have all the local breweries sell their stuff there. So they do like lunch and beers. It's a really cool spot. It digs with my like ocean vibe and that kind of like chilled out, mellow.
That's fantastic. What's the name again?
It's West Shore Coffee Bar.
West Shore Coffee. Okay. My the woman who does my hair, which I just got a haircut after 6 months.
Very stunning. That was one of my next lines.
Oh, sure.
Stunning. You've got beautiful studio light.
I don't. It's a window. See, it's a window. Anyway, Sunstone Hair Salon is on.
My sister works there.
Come on.
Yeah, Molly and my sister are really good friends. They used to do hair back in the day together, and
This is so Rhode Island. So
I was just over there probably like a week ago.
Molly did my hair.
Well, look at that.
She's been doing my hair for years.
So did she do your hair when they were at KG?
Yeah.
So then you probably know my sister Ashley. She used to work at KG.
Oh man, I'm sure if I saw her, I would recognize her. Oh, that's really funny.
I almost, when you said you were coming this way, so that's funny. But yeah, my studio is right near there. It's
okay. Now I know.
A half a mile down the road on the right. As soon as you see Islander, I'm like right there.
Okay. It's Sunstone is a beautiful hair salon and studio too. So yeah, you guys are really like creating a little community down there. I mean, I know there are a lot of shops, but it kind of feels to me like that area in Warwick is almost like the Edgewood area in Cranston. It's like this little place that if you don't know about it, you don't know about it. We like it that way. But
I definitely think that, and I think with a lot of the stuff that they're doing in Oakland Beach now, they just got tons of grants to, redo all of the Oakland Beach playgrounds, and the owner of Boogie's has really built that area up, and it's obviously it's sent tons of foot traffic this way. I mean, you see these little places popping up all over, and
right.
It's a cool area. So.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Well, we probably need to meet for a beer one day after work. Maybe we can get Ben out of the hinterlands in Westerly.
Yeah, we'll get him over here. We'll do a little photo. I would like to do a little video stuff with you guys and get out the new place and do some fun stuff. But I wanted to come in and say hi. I miss you guys. I haven't seen you in a few weeks.
I know.
We miss you too. Will you be joining us at noon for the small business town hall with the Lieutenant Governor?
I just may.
Because every week he says, and now we have Chris and Lori and Justin, and then Justin's not there anymore, and it makes me sad.
It's good as I don't have to travel anymore. So that's
I know.
I get to stay local now, and that was the biggest important move for me was, Nick, who was my business partner, he wanted to continue on doing a lot of that stuff and, go back to what he was doing. And that just, I want to be home and see the kids and, have fun and just, be a dad and see what we can make out of this.
It's such, those are such tough decisions too. I mean, I think that it is honorable to see a man making that decision, because usually it's women that are faced with that. Like, do you make the choice between like being with your family? I love, well, Ben, and you hear me say it, I love when I see this change. I feel like I'm like in that decade of like pushing for that change and seeing it maybe 70%, but now you can see it's kind of becoming the norm around like we all raise families. It's really important.
Yep. And I think it's just about happiness, right? Like like Justin was just saying, when the restrictions started to ease a little bit and people started to get used to the world that we're in right now, there was a portion of his business that took him traveling all over the state and more, and working really, really hard every single day in a different way that took him away from things. And much like COVID, there was a terrible thing that happened that caused him to stop. And when you have that ability to pause for a second and get out of the race that you're running, you can go, am I happy?
Yeah.
Am I happy right now? If I'm not, maybe I'm going to do the thing that makes me happy instead. And that's something that Justin chose, and it's something that his partner chose, and in separate ways. And I think that's amazing. And that's something that's really important. Is that you chose happiness. Yeah.
It's really important. I mean, these are our lives, right? So why, I remember spending years traveling all the time and thinking, oh, great. I get to go to everyone thinks it's so glamorous to travel internationally or to be here, and you're thinking like, oh, was I just in Paris? I didn't realize, because you're just in, working out, and exhausted. And I was saying, when it starts to feel crappy, you just got to make a move. You can't, it's just not worth it. It really is not.
That's pretty much, obviously, we had, like I said, we had a small little incident. We had a small little fire at the shop that, ultimately shut us down. And with COVID, and then that financial drain, and then just where the business went for those last few months, we just said, let's put the brakes on. We had individual businesses. We moved really fast. We grew super fast. We're still very close, which is awesome. And I just sat there. It was the first weekend in months that I had a chance to put a phone down, not look at anything, and spend time with my kids. And then I started to talk to my wife and just say, like, is this really worth it anymore? Like, let's just close it down. Let's see what happens, and let's go on to the next chapter. And then we started talking about some ideas and things we could do, and who could we call initially for some help, and we called some mutual friends that were able to help me out a little bit with stuff, and it's been good. It's been good. I get to go home every day at like 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock.
Have dinner, and
it's amazing to be a person and not a number. It's not, you need to go do this right now, or we're going to take your business from you.
I think that I work with in coaching work that I do, clients will come and say, they'll describe that, I can't, this is really bad, I don't like it. And then a lot of times in the United States, especially, this idea around healthcare is such a big deal. But I do think that when, like, you had the opportunity to sit down and say, okay, so where are we? What do I want? How do we want this to work? So everybody has that opportunity to, like, create a plan, for lack of a better term, that can always shift, but it's not like, oh, but you're making so much money, or, oh, but you're getting to go to the, it's really about, like Ben said, you each make a decision for what's right for you. And you have to come back to yourself. You have to come back and start there. It's this whole idea of, like, it's an inside out job. When you work on the inside first, you're way better on the outside.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been a much different person the last, 2 weeks. As crappy as it's been, and as tiring as it's been, moving tons and tons of stuff. And it was nice to just kind of, like, sit back and just kind of, like, do it alone. Not that I didn't have help to do any of it, but just to, like, say, all right, I'm going to get up today. I'm going to move 4 different things, and then I'm going to look for some, consulting, and, different things like that. And, really just give me a chance to get back to doing what I enjoy. And that's, helping people and working with people and teaching stuff. And
yeah, that's awesome.
So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that. Well, let's, so when the first weekend, or the first Tuesday we missed you, was the Tuesday that I was going to interview you about your route through COVID, creating Gift It Forward, shifting Oceanside Graphics into new production spaces. And I think that this idea is still on the table. So I would love to, like, maybe spend next Tuesday really, like, talking to you about all the things that you've literally been through in a 6-month period. I mean, holy crap.
It's been crazy.
Been like 10 years, right?
Yeah. Oh God. I feel like this was like years and years and years and years have gone by to get here. And in reality, it's been 7 months, 8 months,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we still have Gift It Forward on the Shop Local page, and all those businesses are there, where you had a ton of businesses. I still have an intern putting all those businesses in for Gift It Forward. And so just know that, it's all there, and it's your work. I know it is. So
I'm still here, guys. I'm just
see you later.
I do it for somebody.
I just want to say also, thank you. Rebecca Green says, hey, now you need to get Lori and Justin to come all the way down to Westerly. Love watching you all. Yes, Rebecca, I will try to get them to come all the way down to Westerly.
I know.
And
They're
then
short.
we should go to Cold Stone Creamery in Westerly, which is owned by Rebecca.
Oh yes. Oh my
and
God.
Let's
so-
do it. All right, I'm gonna sign out. I got some people here to get some
All
stuff.
right, you guys.
I'll
Thank
see
you, Justin.
See you, Justin. Best of
Thank-
luck. Phil.
Thank you, Lori. This was a great episode, and we'll talk to everybody in 7 days. Yeah, we'll see you soon. Thanks.
Have a good day.